Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Friday. Friday, May 9th, 2025, people. We made it through the week, almost. We still got the rest of this freaking day. But you know what? Every day is a gift, man. It's a gift from him, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. Listen, let's talk about a few things. We got a warning here from Goldman Sachs about the market. All right, we're going to cover that. No surprise to anyone that's here. There's so much going on. We are in a full-blown currency crisis, an absolutely over the top full-blown liquidity crisis around the entire world. And this is manifesting itself in a very ugly way. You got, again, these so-called developed economies around the world dealing with inflationary pressures. People can't survive, but we're doing great. We just made the greatest trade deal in the history of the world. And you know what's kind of interesting? So yesterday I put out this paper, The Deal That Isn't. I don't know how many of you actually read it. I covered it in one of the video yesterday. I covered it, and if you want to see what I wrote, it's available. It's in your inbox again. Link in the description of this video. What's interesting is this. People wrote to me, well, Greg, how do you know what's in this? Because President Trump hasn't announced it yet. Are people really infantile entities? That's what I mean. Honestly, they are so dependent on some kind of an authority figure to tell them, to treat them like an infantile entity as to what's going on. And all they got to do, you have to understand, this stuff is hidden in plain sight. This deal, this trade deal that wasn't, and it isn't, everything we outlined in that paper before the announcement came out of President Trump's mouth, I told you what was in it. Why? 15 minutes. 15 minutes of research is all it took. But people have to sit there and wait. They have to wait for some authority figure to tell them. Tell them. Think of how disgusting that is. Or Greg doesn't know what he's talking about. President Trump hasn't announced it yet. Or Greg doesn't know what he's talking about. Greg's making this up. Really? Am I really? What came out of President Trump's mouth and what is now public knowledge here was all in the newsletter that I put out hours before President Trump made the announcement. But let him hold your hand. You go to hold his hand and let him tell you what's actually going on. How about you guys and girls out here, the ones who wrote to me specifically, is who I'm talking about. This stuff is in your face and it's all out there already. You don't need some authority figure to tell you a damn thing. Or do you? Okay, really? This is why you are controlled, those kind of people. Why? Oh, I got to listen for this. I got to listen for that. Oh, the media is telling me this and telling me that. Really? Honestly? Is this what you've devolved into? Well, good for you. Because I'm telling you, these lions here in this pride, we're going to roll right over you because, again, it's all out there. It's all freaking out there. So anyway, going back to this deal that isn't here, everything we said in the paper before the announcement, it's all true. Everything. Tariffs remain in place as well as reciprocal tariffs. So look at the deal. Look at what the deal. Look at what's going on here. Yes, there are still tariffs on, and there is still action against those tariffs. Now with that here, there's talk of other deals that are possibly going to be made. We're still waiting for Licknut's deal. That never came up. Okay, what freaking ever here. But we did hear from the Federal Reserve. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Let's cover the market real quick. And then maybe I'll talk about what Goldman Sachs is warning about. I don't need Goldman Sachs to warn me of anything. And neither do you. Are we on the same page here? We already know where this is going. And yesterday, President Trump telling everyone, buy stocks now. Buy them now. What happened yesterday on the back of this, not only this deal that wasn't, but President Trump saying, buy stocks now? The stock market did nothing. We got a little bump, less than a bump at Licknut. When Licknut was floated out to turn the market around, the Dow went up more than when President Trump came out. Not only with the deal that wasn't, but telling you to buy stocks now. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't be buying stocks now. Anyway, look, man, let's cover this. 10-year yield still bouncing all over the place, unstable. This is the debt market telling us that we got a problem. Now, the dollar put on some strength yesterday. Is this a safety trade? I don't know. but I can tell you that it's not going to hold. It's not going to hold above the 100 here. There's just no way. Nations are sidestepping the dollar. You got the dollar not being viewed anymore as a so-called safe haven asset. Duh. Okay. You got stock futures higher this morning. Not much. Higher nonetheless. You got gold, silver, and crude oil higher. Israel is striking more targets in the Middle East, even though this so-called truce. So President Trump apparently came to some kind of an agreement with the Houthis, who he was going to annihilate, but now he's agreeing with them. Okay, beautiful. I'm happy, honestly, that this is just a game. You and I, people of the United States, just spent hundreds of billions of dollars fighting a war for the last 2 months, 24/7. How did that work out? Now, there's a truce. Let's see if it holds. I have no idea. Maybe there is no truce at all, because we were told there was a truce. Maybe we should believe the words that, yeah, I have reached a truce with the Houthis, who aren't such bad people anymore. They're not, because they were the worst of the worst, and I'm going to annihilate them. But now they're not so bad, because they've agreed not to attack U.S. assets in the region. But Israel is still pounding targets over there with our help. So make that one up. Crude oil is higher, again, after yesterday's massive jump. And gold and silver, that's what they're doing. Cryptocurrencies are ripping higher here across the board. Now, let's move forward onto a few of the lovely things here. So, Fed President Barr, another creature, non-human entity, he wants you to know something. Tariffs are going to boost inflation and slow growth this year. Again, a so-called authority figure. Really? We couldn't figure this one out. How could the Fed fix this? How could President Trump fix this? He could start getting on the same. He could start saying the opposite of what we're saying now. The Fed, they're fools. They're boneheads. We need lower rates. We need negative rates. Negative rates was his last term. Let's return purchasing power to the currency, and let's turn this all around. How do you destroy an economy? By killing its currency. Does that make sense to you? Let's think for a second here. Because you see, I know all of you here are way smarter than Greg Mannarino. So let's think, how can we build the economy? What would be the key to the whole entire thing? Oh yeah, return purchasing power to the currency. But we have a president here who wants lower rates and a weaker dollar, and he's not ashamed to say it. He's not ashamed to say it because he's working with the same entity who's destroying the economy, the middle class, and you in particular. Yeah, exactly. Let's move forward here. So this is the only thing maybe. When President Trump said yesterday, buy stocks now, because the market is hoping for a tariff rollback and this magnificent deal that wasn't with the UK and the United States. It's not a deal. It's a charade. It's a political move. You all know that, to prop up this market. And let's talk about the market. All right. So Goldman Sachs, stocks are at risk of a 20% drop. 20%. Okay, that's not a crash. No, that's just a normal corrective phase. But let's talk. This is from this morning. This is the S&P 500, a chart of the S&P 500. I'm going to cover it with you right now. Rising wedge. You guys, my technical people out here, you know that's not a very good sign here. Let's look deeper here. Where's the volume? On this rise into the wedge, no volume, basically normal volume. Yesterday, when President Trump told everyone to buy stocks, not too many people listened. No volume. No volume. You need a volume spike. Anyway, I got a little problem here with this video. I think it just came back on. Anyway, no volume spike. Now, the MACD, looking almost like it's rolling over here. That's not a good sign. Relative strength here, okay, we're still positive. But this, with no volume here, let me tell you something. This doesn't guarantee that the market is going to drop. But look up a rising wedge here again, and keep in mind, no volume. Even in the supposed historic trade deal, you can't make that up. Even with buy stocks now, Not too many people listened here. There's a lot of cash on the sidelines, believe me, with regard to institutional investors here. They could turn this around. Is it possible that all of a sudden we could get a big push outside of this rising wedge, let's say up here, on a volume spike, and would the market go up? Absolutely, that's possible. But we have to look at what we have in front of us here. You trade the market you have, not the market you dream about or fantasize about. This is the market we have. So Goldman Sachs here again, another so-called authority figure telling us that we have to, oh, it's 20% drop. Okay, we have this, you see, and we have intelligence. We have a few functioning brain cells. So what I'm telling you is this. And if you guys like this kind of stuff, if you want to hear more about this, I got it all laid out for you. Right on my website, traderschoice.net. There is a link in the description of the video. I do a whole technical breakdown on the S&P 500 and how to trade it. A whole technical breakdown on crude oil and how to trade it. A whole breakdown on gold and how to trade it. Also one on Bitcoin and XRP. You like any of this stuff? It's all free, man. The best things in life are free. There's a link in the description of this video. Go check it out. Have a look. Greg, you're right, you're wrong. Let me know. But anyway, look, man, this is where we are. And for those of you that got in here and bought stocks on President Trump's advice, well, maybe you'll do well, maybe you won't. But Greg Mannarino, yes, I am back in this market just a little bit. I will not be getting back in here full bore until I see how this rising wedge plays out. And I want to see a volume spike one way or the other. Let's say, for example, we drop and we see a huge volume spike. Look at these spikes. These are big volume spikes. We get a big volume spike on a drop, that's going to tell you that this market is going lower, and maybe Goldman Sachs is correct. We get a breakout above this rising wedge on high volume, well, that means what? The market's probably going higher. You see how easy this is? This is simple. They want you to think there's some mystery behind it. Yeah. There's no mystery behind anything, okay, honestly, except for God the Father Almighty, the creator of all things. Yeah, that's kind of a mystery, huh? It's the biggest mystery of all time. Anyway, guys, listen, love you guys with all I got. And I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, I want to hear from you. If you didn't, let me know too. Anyway, look, man, I will see all of you later, 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern for the live stream. If you got something out of this, like I said, I want to hear from you one way or the other or not. If I've earned you a thumbs up, I'd appreciate that too. Let's get the word out, people. We're living in the heart of Babylon right now. And I am working very hard to break the bones of Babylon, okay? In case you haven't noticed, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm on a new mission these days. And my ultimate mission is to keep all of you guys and girls on the right side of this, to give you guys and girls actionable information. And I got it all out for you. Again, I'm on my website right now, tradeschurch.net, everything you could possibly want, full breakdowns of everything, again, free. Try to find that stuff for free anywhere else. Link in the description of this video, my newsletter, and I am planning on putting out more stuff for you today. I'm already working on a couple of projects here. I have a backlog of projects that when I think about sometimes, like it kind of freaks me out a little bit, but that's okay. All right, look, love you all with all I got. I'll see you later. 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern for the live stream, right? That's all. Over and out. See you later.